In one Somerset village, a small but faithful congregation has managed to grow a fresh expression of church, and just in time.
It's a very rural community, set in the Brendan Hills. The countryside around is absolutely beautiful. The village is tiny, the population is 40. The church is the only public building left in the village. It's lovingly being kept open by the two church wardens and their wives who'd been caring for it for a long time. And sadly nobody else in the village supported it at all, and most of the services they were the only congregation. So it was in a sorry way. And also financially it was in the red, it couldn't pay its way. It was having to draw on its last little bits of reserves to pay its bills. So it was going nowhere. At the end of my first year here, the diocese sent a couple of diocesan officers to discuss the process of closure with the two church wardens and myself. And then right at the end of the discussion, I was asked if I had any comments I would like to make. Up until this point, there had not been a willingness to accept change, and the church only had Book of Common Prayer services once a month, and nobody was coming. And so this was the moment at which I was able to engage the church wardens with the idea that perhaps to move away from the traditional type of service to something quite different might be a possibility and might be something that would re-engage the village with its church. Things have changed enormously. Everybody has come on board, they've been willing to try something different, and they've done so with great enthusiasm. We've worked out a pattern of services that celebrate the rural location, the countryside. So we picked on a rogation service for the spring, going outside and blessing the village and the crops, a pet service when they all bring their pets, and this year I think we had 17 dogs, 2 chickens and a cat. And in the summer we have the clipping service, which is a service of thanksgiving for our church and a blessing for it. The word clipping means to hug. So we all go outside and join hands and hug our church and say prayers for the church, and then we turn round and face outwards and say prayers and a blessing for our village community. One of the services we have during the year is an All Saints service. And this year we decided we would celebrate all the saints of Tolland, which is all the baptised, and think about how each of us is called to live out our sainthood in our everyday lives. Everybody's names have been on little models that they've stuck. We made our own stained glass window, and of course they've lit their baptism candle to remind themselves they carry the light of Christ in the world as a saint of God in the world.
The services are really innovative, they're fun, they're enjoyable, they're somewhat different. Very informal, and that's what people seem to like.
I thoroughly enjoy the services. It's great fun, and it's lovely to see lots more people from the village coming to the services now. Margaret has made it great fun to be here.
We've tried to engage with people to come and join in by trying to meet them where they are. That's been by not being churchy, but by choosing services that are relevant to their lives in the countryside and drawing them in a way that's not threatening.
The first time we came to church really was out of curiosity more than anything, and to meet a few more people. But it's been really a centre of the village, an opportunity to regularly get to meet people, see how they are, catch up with people. I think probably the last time I went to church was at school. And so as I say, we came along to see what it was like. And I think the relevance to us here is the fact it is the centre of the community. The services are fun, they're informative because they do reflect the rural nature of this community. And now we are regular churchgoers.
I've had lots of conversations with people that they wouldn't have recognised as being spiritual at all before, but now begin to see that they are. And just simply managing the churchyard for wildlife and making a record of the wildflowers as they come out and displaying it in the church has helped them connect with the natural world and the glory of God revealed in it. And then the conversations flow. I think when you have a very small community, you have to be aware of not overburdening people with responsibilities and cares. It means that actually when we do have a service, everybody is here. Rather than if you have a lot more services, there are 3 or 4 each time. So it focuses people's attention. It means that when you do meet, everybody is there and everybody is encouraging each other. We now regularly have 75% plus of our total village population attending church regularly. Sometimes I get really excited by it because almost everybody in the community is engaged in some way or touched by the ministry of the church now.
The church is the heart of this community. It's a very small community, it's only 20 odd houses, but there is no village hall, there is nothing else, there's no pub. And it's right, it's been here 1,000 years. We're beginning to use it again for what it was designed for.
Before, people would move into the village and we hardly got to know them. Through the church now, we've got to know people as they move in, and people are very keen to come to church. So it's been a dramatic change.
We started with the spiritual life of the church and the community, and that's what we've worked on. I think a lot of people now are aware that their spiritual life is part of everyday life, rather than something set apart in a box separate that just the super holy do on Sundays. Most people in this village are now actively involved in coming and sharing and loving and caring for each other and for their church and worshipping together when we have a service. And that's changed the whole community life, because the community now are involved in caring and worshipping with each other.